whispering scream.
It was Christmas and I had ordered my dad's gift online. I picked the click and collect option because I thought it would be faster. I've done it before. You go to a special till, they hand you a bag, you leave. This was different. I got to the store. It was packed, hot, noisy, and the signs for the collection point didn't point to a till. They pointed down to the basement. I didn't even know the place had a basement. I followed the signs down a long, white service corridor. It smelled of bleach and drains. I walked past cages of mannequins and the staff toilets, and the air got cold. The music from upstairs faded out, and all I could hear was the hum of the lights. The corridor opened into a concrete room. No windows, a high counter with a metal shutter. There was a queue. A woman with pink hair was at the front, and behind her stood a man. I got in line behind him. He was tall, thin. He wore an old-fashioned dark wool suit, and he was soaking wet. It wasn't raining outside. It was a dry night, but he was drenched, like he had been pulled out of a river. Water dripped from his jacket. It ran off his hair and onto the floor. He didn't seem to notice. He stood there, swaying slightly. Then the smell hit me. Mud, rot, stagnant water. It caught in my throat. I took a step back. I looked at the woman in front of him, but she didn't react. She checked her watch. She clearly couldn't smell it. The woman got her parcel and left. The man in the wetsuit was now at the front, and he stood there, silent, just dripping, staring at the wall behind the counter. A black puddle formed at his feet. The staff member, a young kid, looked up. He shouted, "Next!" He was looking right at me. He seemed to look straight through this man. I froze and I pointed. "Sorry, I think this gentleman is next." The kid looked confused. "Sorry, who?" The man in the wetsuit didn't move. This guy," I whispered. "Right here?" The kid looked annoyed. "Mate, there's no one there. Are you in the queue or not?" I felt the blood drain from my face. I looked back at the man. He was still there. I saw the puddle. I could smell the rot. He turned his head slowly, and I heard the sound like wet leather. His face was grey, and he had no eyes. The sockets were dark, empty. Black water leaked from them. It ran down his cheeks, and he looked right at me. I couldn't breathe. He turned away. He walked toward the solid concrete wall, and he didn't stop. He walked right into it. He didn't fade. He took one step, then the next, and then he was gone. "Mate," the staffer said. "You alright? You look like you've seen a ghost." I mumbled my order number. He handed me the parcel. I turned to leave. I looked at the floor, the spot where he had been standing, and it was bone dry. I walked out of the room, and I walked back up that long white corridor, my footsteps echoing. I reached the fire door at the end. On the other side, I could hear the Christmas music again, bright and happy. I pushed the door open and I walked out into the street, clutching this bag that had my dad's gift in it. I have not been able to explain what I saw, and I know that it sounds crazy, but I am certain, without any shadow of a doubt, that I saw a genuine ghost that day. The town was asleep. I was out by the ring road. The 24-hour Superstore was the only thing open, a bright white box under a black sky. And it was 11 p.m. My car ticked in the empty lot, and I grabbed a trolley. One wheel was broken. It squeaked on the pavement. My wife was panicked. I was the last hope for our son, Ben. I had to find a rocket bot. Inside the store was silent. Lights buzzed. It smelled of floor cleaner and stale heat. I felt like the only person there. I pushed the cart towards the toys. The aisle was a mess, picked clean. I almost gave up, and then I saw it. Behind some dolls, the last one. I reached out. My hand touched the box. Another hand touched it at the same time. He came from nowhere. I didn't hear a thing. This thin man, face like old paper, tired eyes. "Excuse me," he said. His voice was quiet. "I need that." "I'm sorry," I said. I gripped the box. "It's the last one. It's for my son." He looked at the box, then at me. 50, he whispered. "Cash." No, sorry, he set his heart on it." The man didn't move. The air felt wrong. "You should give it to me," he said. Not a question. "It would be better if you gave it to me." The skin on my neck prickled. "No, sorry." I turned, pulled the trolley. The bad wheel squeaked away. I didn't look back. Psycho. Christmas really brings them out. I went to the other side of the store, the milk aisle. I got to the end and I looked up, and he was there, 100 yards away, end of the biscuit aisle, standing, watching me. No trolley, no basket. My stomach dropped. Coincidence, he is shopping. I pushed the cart faster, down the cereal aisle. I had reached the end. I looked back, and he was there, walking slowly, eyes fixed on me. I abandoned the milk. I went into the clothing department, mannequins and pyjamas everywhere. I zigzagged through the racks, and the cart rattled. I stopped, my heart hammering. I looked through a gap in the coats. He was at the entrance, unmoving. He wasn't shopping, he was still watching me. I left the trolley, left the toy, walked fast to the checkouts and found a kid stacking cans. "Look," I whispered. "There's a man, he's following me." The kid looked at me. He didn't laugh. He could see the expression on my face. "Okay." He spoke into his radio. A security guard came over, this big guy. "Right, where is he?" I looked. Empty aisles. He was gone. Vanished. "He was right there," I said. "No worries," the guard said. "It's been a weird night." I felt stupid. I went back, grabbed the toy, paid, and the guard walked with me to my car. We went through the automatic doors into the night, and he waited until I was in my car with the doors locked. I waved, started the engine, and I felt safe. I pulled out, drove to the junction, the last stop before the main road. I looked to my left, and he was there, standing on the pavement by the bus stop under the yellow streetlight. He wasn't waiting for a bus. They had stopped hours ago, and he just stood there, motionless, watching me go. I've been back to that shop since then, and I've never seen him again. My wife thinks it was just some lonely old man at Christmas, and maybe she's right. But still, It's made me think twice about going to those 24-hour supermarkets in the early hours again. You know that feeling the weekend before Christmas, when the mall isn't even fun anymore? It's just hot and bright, and everyone is pushing, and the air smells like wet coats and cinnamon. That's where I was, just completely overloaded. My ears were ringing, the same awful tinny Jingle Bell rock had been on a loop for what felt like hours. I was just trying to get the last gift for my mum and get out. I was on the top floor balcony, looking down at the sea of people by the giant Christmas tree, and suddenly the music just cut out. Not a fade out, it completely stopped, a dead, abrupt click. And the silence was huge. It was louder than the music had been. Everyone in the mall seemed to stop at the same second. People looked up from their phones, confused. A baby who had been screaming went quiet. In that total dead air vacuum, I heard it. It was coming from the PA speakers, the same speakers that had been blaring the music. It was whispering. It wasn't one voice. It sounded like 1,000 people, all whispering at the exact same time. It was a dry, rustling sound. I froze. I looked around. People were just standing there. They were looking around, annoyed, probably wondering why the music had stopped. But they couldn't hear it. I was the only one who seemed to hear it. I looked up at one of the speakers bolted to the ceiling, and the whispering got clearer. It wasn't just random noise. It was a loop. It was a phrase, over and over.
We see you, we see you, we see you.
I looked down at the crowd by the tree, and as I watched, every single person in that crowd, every single one, stopped, and they all slowly turned their heads, and they looked up, right at me. I couldn't breathe. I felt my legs go weak, and just as I was about to scream, the mall's sound system exploded back to life. It was so loud, it made me physically jump. Everyone in the mall jumped. People laughed nervously. The baby started crying again. The crowd by the tree broke apart, moving, shopping, talking. It was normal. Everything was normal. I stood there, shaking, gripping the railing. I looked down. Just shoppers. No one was looking at me. I didn't buy my mum's gift. I just left. I went down the escalator, through the crowd, and just pushed my way into the cold air. I didn't know what I heard. I tried to tell myself it was feedback or the sound of the crowd echoing. But I haven't been back to that mall since. And sometimes, when I'm in a really crowded place, I still get that feeling that I'm the only one who can hear the sound under the noise.